Okay, fire away.
All right, joining us on the line right now is a former WWF superstar. He's a record-breaking powerlifter. He's a former world-class Texas heavyweight champion. He's, of course, the world's strongest man, Ted Arcidi. Mr. Arcidi, welcome to the Two-Man Power Trip. How you doing today?
How you doing, Johnny? Good to be here, man.
It's awesome to be able to get you on. You are the world's strongest man. Now, what have you been up to lately? What's been going on in your world?
Well, I've been doing some acting. I was just on Ray Donovan. I had a guest star role in that, and that was about 6 months ago. I think they're showing it now. And I finished up production in a couple independent films, and still auditioning now for pilot season. On top of that, I got my real estate business, and I have a store here in Manchester, New Hampshire, weightlifting store, as a matter of fact. And we're doing very well, selling home gyms and, weight sets and stuff, because a lot of people now want to train at home. They don't want to deal with going to the gyms.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
yeah.
I'm sure that business has been booming.
Yeah. But it sucks. So I got a lot of friends in the acting business, and these guys, they were living out of New York, and they didn't know what they're going to do. Same thing with L.A. A lot of productions are on hold. They're only using the people that were in the season before. So, getting auditions and actually going to the office for casting calls and, auditions and dealing with the casting directors, it's very hard. It's very hard for them. And then they can't work at restaurants anymore because they're all closed down. The ad is the starving actor. They work in the restaurant businesses. That's not even an occurrence now.
Yeah, good point. It is very, very crazy and tough world out there. How did you get into the acting world? Because I know you've been in a bunch of different things, but how did you kind of get in?
When I got out of wrestling, tail end of my powerlifting career, the joints were taking a beating. When you're working out, and if your warm-up weight is killing you, it's time to get out because your joints just degrade. You just can't do it forever, And I had a decent career, so I get into something else. I always wanted to get into acting because I talked to some of the guys in the business from wrestling, and they mentioned, get your SAG card, take classes, And I did that up in Boston back in, when did I start? Like 98, 99. And I just worked locally, non-union stuff, did a shitload of student films and a lot of free work, but you just get better at it. Because I always wanted to do it, it's entertainment, and you don't have to put your body on the line like with wrestling.
Yeah, very true. Do you think it was an easy transition from wrestling to acting?
Acting and TV and film is a very, very cool medium. So you had to bring it down. It's more real life stuff. Not that wrestling isn't, but, it's not over the top as much, more subtlety involved. But basically it's just being comfortable in front of the camera and just, looking at the camera straight in the eye and telling the truth, how you feel. And, yeah, it came to me pretty good. Because, I guess I had a character in me already, Yeah,
oh yeah. Almost like wrestling helped even further bring that character out.
I think so. It all comes down to life experiences, John. I see a lot of new actors, even older actors, they just don't got it. They're not convincing because they haven't really dug deep into their past experiences, life experiences, failing, different types of physicalities and stuff that you can draw from. And I think that really helped. The wrestling, the powerlifting, being in competitive spirit and in competition, and then dealing and expounding my talents when I was wrestling every night and doing interviews. You just get better and better at it, and it cuts away through all the bullshit. So you're not really prepping; you're just being you.
When you were on like Ray Donovan and stuff, was that just like a really cool experience, or was was it just
good.
one of those things where you just love doing that?
Yeah, I do it for nothing. I do all acting for nothing. It's just such a great medium. The money's great, but I don't do it for the money. It was real easy on the set. It's like you belong there, you know. You do a bunch of takes. You run it different ways. You get a good director, Eddie Bianchi. He was the director for my day, and God, 2 or 3 scenes, and we were there all day. But it was fun, and it would kind of suck leaving because we just had a lot of fun. A lot of different ways to run it. You know, run the script, run your part, and then there was blocking, and I got wailed on at the end of the scene with a baseball bat, so physicality was important too, and that was good. That was
and you're used to that.
Yeah. I actually broke the friggin' bat. It was a plastic bat, and I was being beat on. I was first verbalizing and verbally abusing a young Ray Donovan, and then he came back into my place, and we had it out, and he ended up grabbing a bat. And my character, Ricky Ronson, I'm a collector's memorabilia sports guy. So I had Boston, this is like circa 1984, so I had Boston sports, Yastrzemski bats, jerseys, Carlton Fist stuff hanging in my wall, and I was dealing the stuff illegally too, so I was kind of like swarmy at the same time. And I owed him money, the young Ray Donovan. And he grabs a bat in the middle of our conflict off the wall and proceeded to nail me with it. So that was pretty good. Yeah, it's a prop bat, and it's plastic. But I said, lay it in, man. We got to make this thing look real, and he did, and he broke the bat in my lat.
That's pretty damn cool, though, because that's a pretty popular show. Of course,
I think it's one of the best shows out there. I really do. Yep. I don't know if it's going to have a continuance and stuff, but I'd love to get on there as a reoccurring. But there's a lot of stuff coming up now with pilots. Pilot season's coming up, so we got some opportunity here, which is good.
Are you allowed to say what else you're kind of out there auditioning for? Or is it one of those things you
yeah, a lot of it's like on the cuff. Series roles, reoccurring roles, guest star roles. Some co-stars too, where you're in there for the day, and then there are some other stuff like untitled stuff they're doing in Boston. I'm based in New Hampshire, but I'll go to L.A., I'll go to Boston, New York if I have to. But luckily, that's not really luckily. I'd rather do auditions and go in front of the casting director directly in the room. That's where you really show your stuff. So it's hard you only have 2 planes on a self-take, or when you're doing a scene on take and then they send it to L.A. and New York. Because, I don't know, the real personality can't go through, that you want to see that 5th plane, that 4th plane. But, yeah, a lot of it's untitled now because it's in development. So, yeah.
And what were some of the other roles that you were in already?
Oh, God, I've done a ton of commercials, Wendy's, FedEx, some sporting goods stuff, and then I was on Law and Order a bunch, and then the bunch of different. I was on Equalizer 2. I was on that promo for Equalizer 2 with Denzel, which is good. That got more play than the actual movie, which is cool. And then Nurse Jackie's when she was around. 30 Rock. Yeah, if they go to the IMDb page, they got the whole thing. I got like about 36, 40 credits. But it was good. I started in Boston. Started out, no one starts out big. You start out small doing the non-union stuff. And like I said, did a lot of free student films. What's great about the student films is you get to keep, you're working with these students, and the stuff that you shoot during the day, the reels, the dailies, you work it out with the director. You can keep your cuts and you can have them edit it. And it was good to get those dailies so I can present a reel of my best stuff, with stuff that was not only student films, but stuff I did non-union, like commercials and some low-budget movies and stuff. And then I sent that to New York, and I got an agent right away, pretty much. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, let me see this. Let me look online here.
With the acting thing, you're obviously, you're doing some stuff. When you go for roles, do they know, like, hey, this was the world's strongest man, or hey, this is former WWF superstar? Do they know that?
You're funny you said that because they find out. And I don't tell them, like when I'm at the audition, I used to be a WWF wrestler, superstar, and world's strongest man. Let them find that out because you want to just go there bare bones for acting, You may hear some background noise. I'm just going down in the elevator. But, yeah. And then it comes out on the set. The director, the producers, they'll stop and say, hey, guess who's with us today? So that's kind of cool. But I'd rather let them find out themselves because it's the acting that counts. You can't. They don't really care. They want to see the talent. They want to see if you can rock and roll.
Yeah, they want to see what you can do now rather than what you did.
Yeah.
Now, as far as getting into the world of wrestling, getting into the WWF, and obviously famous power lifter, world record breaker and holder, and world's strongest man, how'd you get into the WWF?
How did I get in?
Yeah, to the WWF. Obviously.
Well, I set the record. I set the record at the Hawaii Internationals back in 1985, and I always wanted to get into wrestling. And I got called in by Vince and Time from the NWA for interviews.
In 85, you said NWA, Ted Turner's after you, basically Vince McMahon and WWF is after you.
Yeah, I was pretty tight with, still I'm kind of with Temperatura. Before he knew I was going for the record, I'd see him at the Garden and stuff, watch his matches, and he knew I was going to get the record because I was pretty damn close, and got a call from Vince. I didn't want to let it deter me from not setting the record, so I didn't think about it until after I set the record. Then I had the opportunities. And then I had a meeting with Vince back when they had their first office in Connecticut. And they put me through wrestling school, Tony Altamori's wrestling school in Orange, Connecticut. So that was cool. Only 6 months, so I kind of had to learn on the job, too, because they wanted me on there so much right away because Patera at the time got canned. He was in the can because him and Sayuda, they attacked that guy at McDonald's there for a Big Mac or something.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got arrested and then fought the cops and made it
right, yeah, and he had to do time for a while, but that helped me out because it was kind of like a clear way to get in the world's strongest man there,
Crazy though, only 6 months of training, and then it's like training on the road or like on-the-job training.
Yeah. So I just got more involved in matches, more and more as I progressed there, and then I turned heel. I went away to turn heel down in Texas, and I think that's where I really came into play as a heel.
So even before you become a heel in Texas, but the WWF. And it's on-the-job training, and you basically got recruited in. You're the
and I was a
man.
babyface in the WWE, so to go heel. Vince wanted me to go heel, so I went to Calgary, spent a few months there. Then I went down to Texas, and then I got the strap down there. But I never went back to Vince because I don't know. My business was going well. My mail order business that I had advertised with Joe Weider, Muscle and Fitness, my sports supplement business and stuff was doing well. And I ended up getting married, had a kid early, so I just got out of it.
With the time in the WWF, I think so many people will remember the LJN, the action figure. And
that was a great thing, man. That doll is a good likeness. Yeah.
Isn't that
really
crazy?
good likeness.
All these years later, how popular it is? Because if you look now,
I know. I mean, every time I
money.
go to these signings, they come out with the dolls. I guess they're still making them. I don't know how they still get them in the package. You know, there must be like third and fourth rounds of manufacturing going on. But that's cool. That's a nice thing.
Are you
nice
shocked?
Novelty.
Yeah, are you shocked with like the popularity of them? Like at the time, you know, it's kind of brand spanking new. They're going to make action figures.
Yeah. Now it's like they're even like with YouTube and the internet. It's even more popular now. It's like a second life. And then with the acting, they tie the two in. You know, so that's what's cool. Like tonight at the signing, the virtual signing. We'll be signing a wrestling thing, but I'll also send them a headshot, an acting headshot too. I thought that'd be nice for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I think that a lot of those fans will definitely have that wrestling figure, you know, or have some old stuff. Because it's crazy that the amount of them. I wish I didn't sell them years ago. I sold them all because I obviously.
Well, can't you still get them on the internet though?
But I'd have to pay like double or triple what I sold it
Oh
for.
yeah,
it's like I'd end up losing money on the thing. So it's almost like, damn it, I wish I would have just kept them.
I've even seen some companies even remake them. Almost, it's a different looking doll, but somehow they did it. You know.
Now, did you get a lot of money? Because Hillbilly Jim says, you know, he got like, you know, thousands upon thousands of dollars. Outback Jack says that he didn't get it because he didn't sign a good enough deal with them. But obviously, you know, they still made a doll.
You mean for my dolls or for the wrestling?
No, for the LJNs. For the
LJN, I made about $75,000 on that. Back then, that was a shitload. Yeah.
Wow. So everyone did clean up. So yeah, the popularity.
Well, just think though. I mean, and that was just so many pennies a doll or whatever. So they must have sold a shitload of dolls because I get this monthly audit report of how many they sold, and I look at the check and I'm thinking, wow, man, that's insane what they sold, because that was the thing at the time. Those dolls, yeah, and they were collector's items, and they still are, yeah.
Crazy. I remember all my friends, we all had like pretty much every single one almost too. So, you know, like if we had them, then millions of other fans had them for sure.
Yeah, and like getting the Outback Jacks and the Ted Arcidis, those are the rare ones. We're like the Onus Wagners of our time, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
What did you think about like that golden era of wrestling? Because that's what they call that era, basically. You know, the whole
I think
Hogan.
It was great. I was so fortunate to be on tour with Terry, and that's the golden goose, man. That's the golden goose. And I thought the rivalries were simpler but better. It wasn't caught up with all this antiquated, you know, crap that you see today. It was, I think it was more brutal. And the matches were more appealing. They're more exciting, you know, today. But I think the storylines kind of suck. A lot of young kids, like I wouldn't let my kids watch today's wrestling. It's you know, with the sex and all that, and not that I'm opposed to that, but it's not for a kid, you know. It's X-rated. There's a lot of X-rated stuff.
It's not like it used to be. I mean, during the golden era, I mean, it was so good. Even you're right. Even the simple storylines were great. Yeah. Everything they did, everybody had a character. Everybody was larger than life. It was like, wow, these guys could really kick your ass if you looked at them, or, you know, they could be like a hero. It was definitely a different time.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I was in that time. It was a good time, and it was like overnight, you know. All of a sudden you're on, and everybody watched TV. Everybody watched wrestling back then, and it wasn't as diluted because there wasn't as many stations. So there was a cross-feeding of observation of wrestling by all counts of people, you know, all walks of life. So I think per capita we probably had the most eyes, we had the most exposure. I think so.
I totally agree. Do you remember back to WrestleMania 2 being in that battle royal with all the NFL guys too?
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was really cool. And we had a rehearsal, you know, the other night before that, whatever. It's just like what we're going to do and stuff. You know, talked it out. And those guys, you know, they respected us and we respected them. That was Refrigerator Perry, Freilich, a lot of the Chicago Bears. And Yeah, I was in touch with a couple of those guys up for a while there, but everybody gets distant, But I thought that was great, though. That was a great thing. It was a great showcase for me, man, being in a 20-man battle royal that's watched all over the world. The way Vince set that up, 3 different venues in one night, I was more in awe of the process.
Yeah, WrestleMania 2 was unbelievable. To be able to do it, and shows you the popularity, to be able to sell out those 3 places and then put it on, closed circuit and then the version of pay-per-view for back then. And
plus have international, and then you had all the rights and all the, it was on HBO and Showtime. I mean,
yep,
it was damn good.
And then
I owe this to Vince. Vince gave me an opportunity, and it was great. It was great, and I just made sure that I did the right things and used the right persona. And now between Vince and Terry Boulay, I was very happy to be on board. Very happy to be on board.
Yeah, and think about it, NFL guys wanted to be a part of WWF
at
that point. You know what I mean?
A lot of them got rejected. A lot of them, they just don't get the character. They don't get the panache. You gotta have that going. It's like Kazmaier. He's a good, decent guy, but I don't think he had the character. He could come across in an interview and stuff. It just seemed kind of boring. But
yeah, and you guys wrestled each other in Canada, right?
Yeah. We tried to make it work up there, and it just didn't really work. Some gimmicks sound good on paper and stuff, but when the rubber hits the road, if it doesn't get over, it doesn't get over. You don't want to stink the house out, And as you know, Calgary was a great lab, a great petri dish for coming up with gimmicks. Some gimmicks worked, some didn't. Worked for me as a heel up there, and then I went on to Texas, as you know, and I love being a heel. I still love being a heel on TV too.
It's so interesting. The guys
in that movie, The Family, I was a heel. I was one of the hitmen, going after De Niro. We filmed that out in France for about a month. That was awesome.
Very cool. What's it like working with Robbie De Niro?
It was super. He wasn't in a lot of my days because we were pursuing him. I was one of the 6 hitmen, and we had to go through training with guns and running around and combat and things like that. And the guy who gave me a shot at a great role out there, I was Tommy, was Luc Besson. He's like the Spielberg of Europe, He did all the Taken movies and stuff. So that was fantastic, though. And he's a good guy. I was shooting the shit with him a lot. And Tommy Lee Jones, too. Great guy. Tommy Lee's a farmer. Do you know that? He's a farmer down in Texas. He's got a farm.
That's weird.
Yeah, he was going to some... He went to some... When we were out there, he went to a farm equipment auction over there. And I think he might have gotten something. But, he's got... I don't know. He must have a few hundred acres or something, but that's a nice thing. There's an adage right there. He has something else going besides the acting. Do something you love, Do something you love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he had a great character in that movie too.
Down in Texas, it's interesting to look at like who you worked with and who you teamed with and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see Texas Red, aka The Undertaker.
Yeah. Was he my tag partner at one time, or were we opposite? I think he might have been my tag partner.
Yeah, he was your tag team partner. Yep.
Yeah, Texas Red. Yeah. Is he still doing it?
He just retired as of November.
Wow.
So 30 years in the WWF.
Wow. We got another connection, too, him and Percy Pringle.
Yeah. I was going to bring him up, too. Yep.
Yeah. Great guy. Very sad still to see that he passed. And he'd be connecting with me when I got on TV or something from Texas. So that was cool because he used to see me. He saw my transition going in there. Let me say, he managed me. He managed Rick Rude.
Yep.
He managed Matt Bourne. We had a great angle with Matt Bourne. That's where I got the belt down there. And I really miss a lot, too. He passed, too, was Gary Hart. Gary Hart really helped me out a ton. Calls you being a heel and stuff. And I had great matches when he was, he had Al Perez in his stall, and Percy had me. And we took this thing all around the place, all around the Southwest. Al Perez was a great worker, the Latin heartthrob. I'm surprised he didn't go to New York. I don't know if he went to New York and tried, but, man, he was great. I loved working with him. Really good. Really good guy. Have you heard what he's doing at all now or what?
I know he still does signings periodically and stuff. He still looked, not the same, he looks older, but he still looks in great shape.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. Even in WCW, it didn't work out with him when he was in WCW.
I don't know if they gave him a good enough shot. I really don't know. I don't know. But he was on top, and he did well down in Texas, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. What was it like working with the Von Erichs down there?
That was good. That was really good. I worked with Kevin, worked with Kerry, and the Sportatorium, man. I was so glad I was a part of that. The legendary down there. I drove down there. I was down in that area for a shooting, and I drove by the Sportatorium, and it's no longer there. It's a fucking parking lot. It's fucked up. But there's one place that's still there that Bruiser Brody took me there when he was booking down there when I first flew down there to get into World Championship, was Big Al's barbecue. You know how barbecues are prevalent. They're everywhere down there. And I went to Big Al's with him. And this is what he says. I mean, you can't find out now, but he says, Ted, I hired you because I saw the way you ate at Big Al's. You just wouldn't stop putting away. I knew you'd work out. So I always had an affinity with Bruiser, and I was really upset about what happened to him because I was one of the few that just got to talk to him all the time, you know. And he wore a lot of hats there too, being the booker, running the angles and stuff, then working. Best caveman sucker routine ever with him. And he was talented, and he was well built. It was the most awesome gimmick for a guy. That's why he made so much money overseas. He was phenomenal. His height, his stance. I mean, he's so friggin' convincing.
He was a beast for sure. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome wrestler too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Frank Goodish, right? Yeah.
Yep. Is he the one that came up with the Mr. 705 when you were doing that gimmick? He
could have been Gary Hart. Gary used to make me crack up on the promos. I got better at the promos. I had some real good promos, believe it or not, up in Calgary. There's still some of them floating around.
Yeah, you spent a fair amount of time up there as well.
I was juiced up there, and it was right after Vince, but yeah, it's so easy at those places. You get freewheel too, and that's where I got into like ad-libbing, improving. I think that probably helped me carry over into acting.
Oh, there's no doubt. I definitely agree. What was Stu Hart like up there?
Stu was a great guy. He liked to stretch you. He tried to get to me a stretch a couple of times, but I didn't fall for it. But he, solid guy, loved the business, loved his kids. I had dinner at his house almost every Sunday with the boys, so I felt that was very fortunate to do that. I mean, we had a spread. We would have, those chicken roasters you see rotating at like Whole Foods and stuff? He had one of those, like you see at a carnival. And there'd be like 6, 7 chickens. And they would feed us in the Hart living room or dining room where all the pictures of the Harts were. They had 13 kids. And I thought that I was very fortunate to experience that.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. And obviously Stu is such a legend, and all of his kids, I mean, most of them became big-time legends in the business. Were you close with any of the Hart boys?
Probably Brett. I was very close with. While we were on the road and stuff, we traveled sometimes together. And Jim Neidhart, because he was a power lifter at first and great football player too.
Yep.
So we had something in common. And even after I stayed in touch with him a couple times. But he was really down to earth. I wasn't really connected with Owen that much, even though he was part of the crew. But I was more connected with Brett. Probably because of the trips, we used to share rides and stuff,
Yep.
It's very easy to get, to get accustomed with someone when you're riding. You talk about a lot of shit,
Were you a big partier at all?
Was I what?
A big partier, like a drinker and that kind of
really. Not really, no. Because I had to lift. That was my gimmick. So that was my first and foremost thing, to go there into a town, get the lifting done, then go home and relax until the match. No, I didn't really party too much. I didn't do the extreme stuff at all. I mean, I have a few beers here and there, but that was it. Because that was my gimmick. If I fucked that up, my body, if I started looking like shit, there goes the world's strongest man. That doesn't help.
Yeah, that's true. What about, like, ribbing? Were you like a ribber and stuff? Did you like to play jokes and stuff?
No, I kind of kept to myself. I mean, I'd laugh and stuff. Sometimes that can get crazy. Owen did a lot of ribbing. And I don't know. I just never into that. But I'd like to watch it. It's fun.
Now, what about some guys you didn't get along with? I know there's a story, kind of Big John Studd and you. Maybe you didn't get along. Maybe he stiffed you in a match.
Actually, we get along really good together, Studd. Me and the
Oh,
Sheik.
okay.
Yeah, and Volkov. And Studd was great, yeah. We had a great gimmick, Studd and I, at the Boston Garden. We took that all over the area. And in Australia, that's where I really got to know him more, because I was on a tour with Australia with him. Prior to that winter, we went down there. But no, Studd was great, man. He respected me. We worked out a few times together. Man, he really is the consummate gentle giant. The consummate gentle giant, yeah.
I guess that's always a rumor that's thrown out there, like, oh, he was stiff at the end of the match, but maybe it was just you guys were working so well together, it's like the assumption that he was stiff in the end of the match.
Yeah, not really. No. And I'd get a little stiff with him, but, I mean, that's how it is. It's back and forth. You want to make it look real. But, no, there was no animosity ever. I mean, the guy was great. And he thanked me, and I thanked him. And he would take me through the match, too, just to make sure. So he made it look real. That was the consummate actor as a raging bikie, if I ever seen one,
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Consummate. I mean, with that hair streaming out back, bare-chested. He's like the modern-day Buccaneer on a motorcycle. Yeah.
Yep.
He did. Yeah, he got some. I talked about the acting with him and Saito, and they told me about getting some classes and get the SAG card and stuff like that. So they kind of like helped me in the beginning.
If you remember that great movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Right. He had a
there.
decent part in that too. Yeah. Yeah, with Don Johnson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mickey Rourke.
And who?
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke, yeah. So that was a great movie with him with the wrestler, though. Wasn't that consummate? That was iconic.
Oh,
he did such a great job on that.
Did you think it was very true to life?
I think so, especially at that time. They were getting into the real weird stuff, the hardcore stuff, the glass. I pictured that, but he portrayed it tremendously. Gave him another life. Gave him another boost with his acting, because he was kind of on the outs. He just really didn't act for like so many years before that. He would just go to the gym and work out, and then just rely on his royalties. But that was a nice rebirth for him.
Plus, you don't got to take bumps or hurt yourself.
Yeah. I haven't met him. I'd like to meet him someday. I'm sure I will.
Yeah. He, I guess he is a pretty big wrestler. I mean, he was a part of that WrestleMania with Jericho, too. I think it was WrestleMania 25 with Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah. And he was also part of the boxing stuff, too, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because I know he was into the boxing. Yeah.
As far as, like, Andre the Giant, another guy I'm thinking of, just an iconic guy of that era. Were you close with Andre at all? Was he friendly? Was he likable?
Andre just kept to himself, You didn't want to mess with Andre. He just wanted to keep to himself. if you talk, you know, you respond. But he had started getting some health ailments. You could just see in the manner of his walking, and it was very, very hard for him breathing and stuff. So I just stayed back unless he talked to me. Yeah, because he wasn't feeling too good. Put it to you that way.
Were those drinking stories about him? Are those true, or are those a little exaggerated?
That was during my time or before my time, but I don't know. I don't know. I never went out. I know we could put him away though. I bet. I know that he used to always get a bottle. Someone would get him a bottle of like brandy or something right after the match. He'd probably wolf the whole thing down. He was a drinker. There's no doubt about it. But maybe that was masking the pain because killing him so much.
Right. As we head towards the wind down, we head towards the finish. Got to ask, though, how come you really left the WWF when Ken Patera came back? Did they not want two strong men together?
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it, John. And that gave them, for me, to go away and become a heel. So that was working out well up in Calgary and down in Texas. But I never came back. But that was it, pretty much.
So when did you
Ken had been, you know, a mainstay, a fixture with them, you know.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, but they wanted me to become. I guess if they had me as a face, then I would have stayed. But I didn't want to become a face. You know, they wanted me to be a heel, and they were going to work out something with me even going up against Dino Bravo because he tried to do the match with the weights and stuff, and he actually failed a 700-pound lift with fake weights. Didn't go. That didn't happen on national TV. I kind of laughed my ass off. But no, that's why. That's why. And then just life took a different turn.
So when did you officially retire from the ring?
I'd say when I got out of Texas.
So it's probably like late '87.
Yeah, like '88. Yeah, like '88.
All right. And as we're finishing up here, your career, just thinking about it, powerlifting, world record, world's strongest man, WWF, superstar, you know, the whole thing. What is kind of, would you say, is your lasting legacy or your stamp? Even your acting as well. Like, what would you think if somebody said Ted Arcidi and you know, they're looking back at your career and your legacy?
Definitely the first man to bench 7. That doesn't seem to get old. And wrestler and actor. Yeah.
Seems to be a great career, legendary career that, you know, you definitely made yourself famous in a few different places, which is hard to do. I mean, it's hard to make yourself famous in one genre. You did it basically in 3 different ones. So it's quite a career and quite a stamp looking back. Yeah,
I'm very happy about that. I think that goes to my upbringing, you know, credit for that. My ethics, my morals. I was always a worker. And from my mother, she always said, practice. You could have the time, make the time to practice. You practice, whatever, you will get better at it. And it made perfect sense. And now being in this genre, it's great. I'll do this till I die, acting. I love it. But I will never, you know, forget and always hold high regard the journey getting to this point, starting with the world record lift and the journey into pro wrestling. I mean, that was great. That was a big accomplishment, and not a lot of people can do that. So I'm very, very lucky, very fortunate. Thank God every day.
And you got a big virtual signing for Captain's Corner going on, which is great.
Called, right?
Yep, and that'll be on Facebook Live. So that's very, very cool stuff that you got going on there. Now, do you have any social media or anything else as far as like plugs and stuff where people can find you? You don't really do social media.
I never get into that because, you know, with IMDb, the acting, like if you just type in Ted Arcidi, it comes up everything, wrestling, acting, you know, lifting. So I've got just pages and pages. So I don't need an ID. I don't need like a press kit because all they got to do is plug in the name, you know.
Yes, very, very true.
Yeah.
Now, just one last thing. when can we see you in Ray Donovan? And I guess hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, they're showing reruns of Ray Donovan, and now they got the whole series online now, on Apple, and you can buy it, on demand. And yeah, you can see me, and then hopefully we got more stuff coming up this year. So yeah, that's always good. It's always good when someone comes up to me on the set and says, "Hey, I used to watch you wrestle." They bring up the benching and stuff first because it all started in the gym.
Yeah.
I was, most of us wrestlers, when you think about it, we're basically gym rats. That's what we were. So I like that. That's like really going back to like the struggle, just being, just trying to be the strongest in the fucking gym. That's cool. So there's occasionally people that come up to me from that, and that's awesome. That's awesome. But I am very blessed to be able to work both mediums now, especially with the internet. It's like a whole new life.
Yes.
Yep. That's an amazing thing.
It's crazy. You get to live on forever with not only WWE Network, but anywhere on the internet, to YouTube, and with your LJN figure. I mean, you basically get to live on forever.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. I never thought it'd turn out like this. So, yeah, we get a lot of people that come up to get a picture and stuff like that. They come to the store. They find out that I have my store in Manchester, New Hampshire. And that's great. They come up, Connecticut, New York, because, I'm not around. They want, they got time. They could come up. It's not a signing, like a place. They could come up here, whatever they want. I'm not going to charge them for an autograph.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate all the time today, and this has been awesome. Thank you so much, and good luck with all the acting.
I'll be talking to you down the road, too.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.